Ever wondered how a decision made by a group of individuals in a room can make or break your stock market portfolio? Imagine this. A few people are huddled together, discussing numbers and charts, and their decision could potentially send your stocks soaring or plummeting. This isn't a scene from a thriller movie, but a real-world scenario involving the Federal Reserve rate. But what is this rate, and how does it wield such power over the stock market? Well, stick around and you'll unravel this mystery. So, what is this Federal Reserve rate, you ask? Well, let's imagine the economy as a massive, complex machine. It's got a lot of moving parts, and it needs a steady hand to keep it running smoothly. That's where the Federal Reserve comes in. The Federal Reserve, or the Fed as it's commonly known, is like the mechanic of our economic machine. One of the key tools that the Fed uses to keep everything humming along nicely is the Federal Reserve rate. In its simplest form, the Federal Reserve rate is the interest rate at which banks and other depository institutions lend money to each other. It's like the price of money, if you will. You see, banks don't just keep all their money in a big vault like Scrooge McDuck. They lend it to each other overnight to meet the reserve requirements set by the Fed. This interbank lending is essential for the smooth functioning of our financial system. And the price for this lending? You guessed it, it's determined by the Federal Reserve rate. But the Fed doesn't just set this rate willy-nilly. It's part of a delicate balancing act aimed at controlling inflation and stimulating economic growth. If the economy is overheating and inflation is rising, the Fed might raise the rate to cool things down. This makes borrowing more expensive, which can slow down spending and investment. On the other hand, if the economy is in a slump, the Fed might lower the rate to stimulate growth. Cheaper borrowing can encourage spending and investment, which can help to kickstart the economy. So, in a nutshell, the Federal Reserve rate is a key lever that the Fed uses to guide the economy. It's a bit like the thermostat in your house. Turn it up to heat things up, turn it down to cool things off. But how does this rate affect your stock market investments? Stay tuned to find out. Now, let's delve into how the Federal Reserve rate impacts the stock market. It's a complex dance, an intricate interplay of factors where a single move can send ripples across the financial landscape. Imagine the Federal Reserve rate as the tempo of a song. When it's low, the rhythm is slow, relaxed. This low rate makes borrowing cheaper, allowing businesses and individuals to take loans at a lower cost. Picture it like a party where the music is inviting and everyone wants to dance. This is the scene in the economic world when the Federal Reserve rate is low. Businesses borrow more, invest more, and as a result, the stock market sees increased activity. For instance, let's consider a hypothetical tech startup, Future Tech. With a low Federal Reserve rate, Future Tech can borrow money cheaply to fund its expansion plans. It can hire more people, develop new products, and generally invest in growth. This growth is then reflected in its stock price, which increases, thereby boosting the overall stock market. But what happens when the tempo of the song speeds up? When the Federal Reserve rate is high, borrowing becomes expensive. The dance becomes more frantic, less people want to join in. Businesses and individuals are less likely to borrow due to the higher cost. This can lead to reduced investment in the stock market. To illustrate, let's revisit Future Tech. With a high Federal Reserve rate, borrowing becomes costly. Future Tech might hesitate to borrow for expansion, resulting in slower growth. This slowdown can affect its stock price, which could drop, thereby impacting the overall stock market negatively. The Federal Reserve rate is a powerful tool in the hands of the Federal Reserve. It can speed up the economic dance or slow it down, depending on the needs of the economy. So, you see, the Federal Reserve rate and the stock market share a complex relationship. It's a dance of economics, a ballet of numbers, a tango of investment and growth. And just like any dance, it requires balance, understanding, and a keen eye on the changing rhythm. So, what should you remember about the Federal Reserve rate and its impact on the stock market? The Federal Reserve rate is a key driver of economic activity. It influences the cost of borrowing, thereby affecting spending and investment decisions. It's like a complex dance where every move has a ripple effect. For stock market players, keeping a keen eye on these rates is crucial for informed decision-making. Remember, understanding the bigger economic picture can help you make smarter investment decisions. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more financial insights.